Motown, Hitsville, all have become synonymous with Detroit because of one man. Of course, I'm talking about Berry Gordy. The famed record executive began his label in the late 1950s, giving birth to a time and a sound like no other. Motown became the home to some of the biggest groups and artists of all time. So we begin our look at Motown's history by dancing in the street with Martha Reeves.
I was born in Alabama, Eufaula, Alabama. I was brought here when I was 18 months old. Moved on Illinois, right off of Ridehill, around the place where we danced in the street. My grandfather was a Methodist minister, and I've been in church all my life. I sang with my two brothers, Benny and Thomas.
Where was the church?
It was at Du Bois in Leland. It's now defunct, just like my schools, Northeastern High School and Miller High Schools. They're all torn down now. You know that Ray Charles was a blues singer, but he also came from the church. Mm-hmm. A lot of his songs is indicated, like they said, he took gospel songs and turned them into R&B, which is the truth. So did Motown. Most of the songs that I sang were gospel songs. Jimmy Mack, When Are You Coming Back? Jesus Christ, When Are You Coming Back?
Yeah, I was going to ask that. Mm-hmm. Who is Jimmy?
He's Jesus.
Okay.
Uh-huh. And love is like a heat wave. That's the Holy Spirit. Hits you from the top of your head to the tips of your toes. That's the only heat wave I've ever experienced.
What was it like to be a Motown artist?
It was like going to a daycare center with a lot of talented kids.
Wow.
A lot of talented people. Berry kind of had a way of collecting the most talented. Well, I came from the Warfield Theater. Mm-hmm. I had everybody that I had spoken to actually competed at the Warfield Theater. My introduction was through Mickey Stevenson, the A&R director. Well, his name was William R. Stevenson, but they called him Mickey, and that's who I asked for when I came to the desk that day. Every experience has been a lesson of some kind, whether it was a painful lesson or it was an enhancing lesson. So Motown's music made you an ambassador. You went all over the world singing their music, and it didn't have a name or a race or a ethnic group or an age or a generation or anything. It was music made that Berry Gordy depicted it being the sound of young America. Mm-hmm. And it became the sound of the world.
Can you define the Motown sound?
Yeah. It's a bunch of people getting together and relating to love, life, and experiences of joy. It was all about happiness. I don't think there was one song that was recorded on Motown that would cause anybody any harm or deflate anybody's ego or cause anybody any grief or pain. It was all about bringing love out, getting rid of the blues, and making us dance. And that's what the music was recorded for musicians. And us singers had to learn how to sing with it. As a matter of fact, while I was in the studio, most of the time they would say, "Hey, Martha, stay in the pocket, stay in the pocket." Because the rhythms from the drums and the bass and the keyboards and the guitars, you had to get in between there somehow, because they all had a space. That's the secret to the Motown sound. They let everybody have their own space.
Do you miss all that hustle and bustle? Do you miss those days?
It was not hustle and bustle. It was fellowship. That's what it was. I miss being with the wonderful people making that music. There are very few places you can go now where people are in one accord like they were at Hitsville. All these good-looking men, they had 2 or 3 women. Yeah, they had a wife at home and a singer, and they had another performer. And I became a good secretary in that department while I was getting my chance to record and my chance to be a star. And when we left for our first tour, 94 one-nighters, 3 months of being on the road in this broken down trailway bus, everybody's song had charted by the time we got back those 3 months. But coming out of that studio and getting on that bus and riding with those 12 acts and the 12-piece band and singing our songs from Detroit to New York, from New York to Washington, D.C., from Washington, D.C. to Chicago to Seattle, Washington, and Los Angeles, California, and then coming back around through Colorado and Texas and back to Hitsville, USA, and everybody's records had charted. Perry was very clever to send us on that 3-month excursion.
Clever indeed. What a legacy.